He volunteered to work in the youth ministry area of a church in Anaheim Hills area. But his whole reason for that was to gain access to the girls. And he befriended a family there, and they had two little girls. And remember, I told you when we looked through those images, we looked for the ones that we didn't recognize. And it just so happened it was a case that I had got him downloading and distributing child pornography with the computer that I was using, and he was in my city. And so obviously it was going to be my case. I had the lead on it. And while I was interviewing him at his house, my forensic examiner for the computer came in and said, "Hey, you need to see something." And I went out and saw these images, and they were of two little girls, maybe 7 and 9 years old. And he was wrestling with them, taking selfies, but his focus was on private areas of their body. At that point, we didn't find any any images where he was physically actively abusing them, but it was enough there that I'm like, we got a problem here. And he identified him and claimed that it was nothing. But then I tracked it back down to the church and sat down with the senior members of the church, and they explained to me that, yeah, we knew he was in here working, and, we had talked to him about the way he would spin the girls around on his shoulders. He would set them up facing him, and then he would spin them around that way. And we talked to him about it, and we eventually moved him out of that area. Eventually, it had been too late because he had already befriended the family. He would go and babysit for him and ultimately abused them. And I interviewed the parents when we were down doing a forensic interview. I sat in a room and interviewed them, and they basically attacked me saying, he wouldn't do this. Todd Hartman wouldn't do this. He's godly and he's this and he's that. And I'm like, telling them what I'm seeing and what I saw, and they wanted nothing to do with it. And we ended up going to federal court for the images on that because the girls didn't fully disclose anything enough that we could charge them in state court. So we took them to federal court. In federal court, we got more sentencing for possession of child indecent images. In state court, it was almost 100% probation and register as a sex offender. No jail time at all, regardless of how many images they had. If they were just what we considered the commercialized, state court, probation, and register.
So
federal court, we could get time based on the number of images and videos.
Yeah, so there's a real lack of punishment in the state system.
Oh, horrible. It's in California.